And my guest this week is Dr. Judith Orloff. She is a psychiatrist, she's an author, she's an empath, she's a highly sensitive woman, and she just wrote a book, The Highly Sensitive Rabbit. It's a children's book, but I'll share this later in the episode how it moved me and impacted me because it's really a very sweet book, and you can find that out there in the world of bookstores and stuff and such, but it's really sweet and you should check it out. Um, yeah, our conversation was really heartfelt, and again, talking with other highly sensitive women, it just feels easy and we're able to dive deep right away. So we do a little bit of that here, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's jump in. Hi, Judith, and welcome to the Awaken Your Wise Woman podcast.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about you and your work, but also the books you've written. But if you could share a little bit about yourself with the listeners who maybe not don't know who you are, that would be great.
Well, I'm Judith Orloff. I'm a psychiatrist in Los Angeles. I'm on staff at UCLA, went to UCLA psychiatric residency, USC medical school. So strong background in logical, linear, rational science. And I'm proud of that. And
Yeah.
I also have integrated being an empath since I was a little girl, just a very highly sensitive person. We could talk about that, in this podcast, and what it's like to be linear and logical and rational and have a, big heart and empathy and being able to be with people without taking on their
Mm,
stress, learning the balance points of empathy. And so I try to embody both in my private practice and just in my life, because I really enjoy being an empath. I'm out on a book tour now for a book called The Highly Sensitive Rabbit, which is
yes.
about,
Oh, so
uh,
sweet.
it's, yes, and it's about a highly sensitive rabbit named Aurora, who actually is me, was based on
Mm,
my childhood. And that's my
oh,
nickname. And
okay.
yeah, who was shamed for her abilities. And she was called a crybaby, and her brothers and sisters wouldn't play with her. And she was just all alone and didn't feel like she belonged in this world. And how circumstances changed, and she began to meet friends in the desert who helped her with techniques on how to be a highly sensitive rabbit and be happy,
Mm.
and so that's pretty much my life story, is how to be a highly sensitive rabbit and be happy.
I love that. I love that. The book is so sweet. The illustrations are beautiful, and it's just a lovely, yeah, just a lovely story. Um, for you, I mean, obviously, well, not obviously, but you've shared that you really value being an empath, being as sensitive as you are, but it has its challenges as well, and finding that balance between, you know, caring deeply. I would feel like as a psychiatrist, that's really important, caring deeply about your patients or your clients, but also not taking, I'm a therapist, so I get it too, but like not taking that home with you or holding it in, not letting it swallow you. And how do you manage that? Yeah.
Yes, and that's very important because it's, my role as a therapist isn't to take on your issues and your problems. I don't see it as that, that
Mm,
I'm here to do that. I'm here to hold
right.
the space and offer
Yeah,
whatever guidance I can to help you do the work you need to do to be freer. And so
exactly.
I
Exactly.
see it, I see it a little bit differently. I don't see it as my role to take on other people's pain. I think that's counterproductive. I don't think
Yeah.
it helps me or helps them.
No, no, no. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, because our patients, our clients have to find the way themselves, or it's not healing, right? I mean, the journey has to be theirs.
Has to be theirs. We can be with them and be the bright light next to them, which
Hmm.
is beautiful, and to be the source of knowledge maybe that they don't have, to give them tools on how to center yourself, how to take alone time, how to take a
Yeah.
breath, especially for children and adults who are overwhelmed, instead of just escalating up and
Yes.
not learning to self-regulate. This is about emotional intelligence, self-regulation, and having fun as an empath, really
Hmm.
enjoying life. And no, in the highly sensitive rabbit, she comes into that it's when she learns how to set her boundaries and say, I don't want to be with you right now, I would rather look at the moon alone. And
Yes.
friend that
Yes.
says, fine, have a great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I thought that was so sweet. The animal friends that, came to her to say, it's okay if you don't want to, be in the rough and tumble with your brothers and sisters, but you do have a voice too. You can share if you do feel hurt by them, or yeah, yeah. Really sweet. Really a
And you
sweet.
can find like-minded souls, and it's very
Yes.
important. Maybe you only find one, but that's fine. One is amazing. You have
Yeah.
one, maybe you have more than one, but you want to treasure them. But they're people who get you, and you don't have to explain everything you're feeling to them. If you're feeling overwhelmed and you need to be quiet, they go, I get it. It's okay.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
good time calming down. So instead of, well, what do you mean? What's wrong with you? We made plans and you're hurting me. You're disappointing me. What do you mean you can't go? We're going out to have fun. And anyways, it could escalate into
Yeah.
that. And an empath sets a boundary and you say no. So you have to learn how to dialogue with this, because people don't always take boundaries easily in the beginning if you had another pattern with them. And
Yep.
so, you have to be the light-hearted one, and not the one who tenses up and gets defensive. You have to,
Yeah.
I love you, you're my friend, and I value you. I just need to be alone. And thank you for understanding and helping me to learn how to set boundaries, because that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. It's so important, right? It's to be able to speak your truth, right? And as well as the value, if that friend isn't understanding that you still value them as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. It has nothing to do with not valuing them. It has to do with your limitations and capabilities, where you might get sick or overloaded if you don't take the time right then. If you've gone over your red line, and I can feel that in myself, gone over
Yeah.
it too
Yep.
much, too fast, I need to just be quiet and recalibrate. And if I
Hmm.
don't, I'll go on sensory overload. And that's a very painful state to be in, when just too much is coming at you too fast and you can't modulate it, and there are people talking and there are decisions to be made, and it's just not a good place to be. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just to be aware of that. You don't want to get to that place. You want to take that time out for you and your children, when you need it, when your intuition says now is
Hmm.
now's the time. You don't want to put it off, because when I put it off, only bad things happen. I end up
Yeah.
saying something I regret. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
end up feeling sick because I somaticize, my stomach starts hurting. No, or my body will give me a signal. So
Hmm.
as an empath, and for your children, you could teach them, listen, listen to your body signals. Listen when you've gone over the red line. Try not to let it get that far. And don't
Yeah.
keep booking things if you're feeling overloaded or sick or exhausted.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I see with my clients often, that there is this sense of like a need to either people please or, take care of others' needs. And because they've been told maybe they were too sensitive or too much or too whatever, that it becomes easier to take care of other people instead of themselves, even though I say easier because we pay the price.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And sometimes the price is exhaustion, and
Yep.
it can be chronic exhaustion, and you don't want to be dragging around all the time. If you're
Right.
dragging around all the time today, you're listening to our conversation. It's a good conversation to listen to at this point. And what can I do to replenish myself and start to build up my reserves at this point? Not in a week, not 3 weeks, but now, today,
Yeah.
even if it's a little tiny step that you can
Mm,
take. Maybe go in the bathtub, shut the door, light a candle, and just relax. If you can't
yeah.
quiet
Yeah.
the jabber in the mind. When you begin to take even one step or two steps, it begins to turn the process around of overload to feeling in your center again and feeling good.
Yeah. Well, and it's almost as if like your insides, the parts of you like begin to trust that you are going to take care of yourself, right? That like, oh, here she is actually listening.
Absolutely. Listening and taking care of the inner child within. Yes, that's
Hmm.
the highly sensitive rabbit is about being a kid and having that inner child meeting her, but also being an adult and honoring that inner child, that you don't want to rule your life, but you want her to be with you, and your vow is to take care of her and listen to her and not let her rule your life, but give her input and play with her and listen to what she needs. That's
Yeah.
very, very important. So in my book signings, it's interesting. I'm having children come with their moms and dads. I'm also having adults come who are bringing inner child with them, because it's time
Oh,
for that child. It's time to not forget about her ever.
yeah. Yeah. As I read it, I had looked through it before, when you initially sent it to me. And then before the interview today, I sat and really, sat with it, looked at the pictures, read the story. And like at moments I was like, oh, got a little teary. I felt it really in my heart. And that was really just such a lovely experience. Yeah.
Well, I love what you did with your hand right then when you were describing it, to just put your hand
Yeah.
to your heart.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
the best place to be, right in here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Just talking about it gets me a little teary. Um, because I feel like there were times where my inner child was not listened to or not cared for or nurtured in the way that I know how to today. So yeah.
That's right. And that's true for so many of us.
Yeah.
And, so many of us were shamed for being who we were, and to
Hmm.
being highly sensitive or empathic, and not given education about it. We didn't have circles with our grandmothers and our aunts and all
True.
women in the family to tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
Hey, you're just sensitive. I had nobody,
Yeah.
at that time. I have some people now, but at that
Yeah.
time, nobody. And it's a terrible
Yeah.
feeling when and I'm sure some of your listeners can relate, to not have any support with this, because it's really hard to sort through by yourself.
It is. It really
Why
is.
go into shopping malls, and why do I feel so awful when I come out of them? Why do I feel so exhausted, or why do I feel pain or depressed? What is going on here? I thought this
Yeah.
is a place to be happy, you know?
Right. This is what everybody else's dream of being happy, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You don't know. So my goal in writing this book, and also my work with empaths, the Empath Survival Guide, Thriving as
Mm,
an Empath, The Genius of Empathy. I've written a bunch of books on empathy and intuition, because that's my interest.
yeah.
All as a matter of expression of the highly sensitive soul.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
important that we honor all of this in ourselves, and the intuition inside of us, begin to listen, to not talk yourself out of things. you
Yeah.
know that won't lead you anywhere good if you talk yourself out of something. If you get an intuition where, I don't really want to go into this business agreement. Oh, but you're going to get so much money from it. Oh, it's going to be so good. I wouldn't do it if I were you.
Yeah.
What do you listen to? What you
Mm,
listen to. And sometimes you just have to make mistakes and find out what happens when you don't listen. Then,
yeah.
money gets embezzled and you go, oh,
No, but it's true though. But and I feel like because when we are raised in an environment where we're told, you're too sensitive or you take things too personally or, you're overly emotional, we sort of lose our innate ability to trust our intuition because we know what we're feeling and other people are telling us you shouldn't be feeling that way. And so something gets kind of disconnected inside, I guess, where we have lost trust with those little pokes of intuition that come to us.
Yes, yes, but you can find it again. Just,
Hmm.
beginning to close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and just ask yourself, what does my body feel about this person?
Yeah,
Do I
yeah,
feel comfortable? Do I have a knot in my stomach? Do I feel relaxed? Do I feel familiar? Do I feel like I want to hug them? Do I feel like I don't want them to touch me at all?
yeah,
Just really begin to ask yourself those questions so you see how your intuition is responding to life in
yeah,
general.
yeah, yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. Our bodies are so wise, and we often, I know I did, disconnected from my body for a long time just because of life experiences and yeah, yeah, not really being shown how to tune into my body when I was a kid.
Of course, we didn't get the training, but the kids need the training. And that's why I wrote this book. It gives them simple beginning training, to
Yeah,
start with. So they have something. They know something's going on in them, and it's a beautiful something, and how to
yeah.
take care of it and how to find others that can support it too. So you're not all alone. With the brothers who are just saying you're a crybaby and
Oh, yeah.
grow up, get a thicker skin. What's wrong with you? Over and over each day. To hear that, that's not healthy.
No, no, definitely not. And yeah, damaging, really, right? I mean, to feel ashamed for who you are from your family.
Yes, it makes you question yourself. And
Yeah,
that's good. You want to be confident in who you are and loving in who you are. You don't want to always be, is it me? Is this me? Am I causing this? Is this, something I'm
yeah,
not, you get into these areas of doubt, which are very unhealthy.
yeah,
You want to be proud of your intuitions and your sensitivities and whatever that may be. And when someone says, and this is the bane of my existence when people say this to me, they've said it my whole life. They said, well, you're the only one who ever feels this way. Oh,
yes.
oh no, don't say it again. That doesn't
Mm,
make any difference that I'm the only one. I am the one. you know
right,
on this.
right,
I'm experiencing this. The same with you. If you have an experience and someone says to you, but you're the only one who's ever
right.
experienced that, then what are you going to do? I mean, but when you get more confident, you say, oh, it's them again. They're just,
They just don't get me, right?
they just don't get me. They never will. And you have to be careful in the medical profession. If you go to a doctor and they say that, because they often do, they say, what? You what? I've never heard about that before.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, isn't that interesting? I haven't heard about it, but let's see what we can do
Tell me
about it.
more. Right, right.
Uh,
Yes. Oh,
more.
yeah. Oh,
And then, to have somebody, as opposed to wronging you, and people, when they're insecure and they don't know how to explain things, they start wronging you. And
mm,
or highly sensitive or empath is blaming themselves. They're so sensitive. But you don't. You just want to realize reality that some people just don't get it. And
yeah.
I don't think you're going to change their mind. I mean, you could always try and educate them, but that's a weird position to be in if you're not feeling well and somebody is telling you don't feel it, so they don't understand why you feel a certain way, but yet you feel it. It's you don't want to do that when you're not feeling well. You want to have
Right.
people
Right.
around
Right.
you who are supportive and say, just tell me what's going on. Let's work with it and let's deal with it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're not feeling it. I mean, how
Yeah.
useless is that? I
Well,
feel
and it's
happy about it.
yeah. but it's funny too because there are times when I have found, especially being highly sensitive, and then my husband who is not, uh,
Yeah.
I can remember having a conversation about doing something. I think maybe it was going on a boat. And in my head, I was thinking through, like, well, I need to look at the boat. I need to figure out whether this is something I'd be comfortable on. One, do they have a bathroom? What's the seating arrangements? Like, I was going through this mental deep processing of, like, am I going to be comfortable with this? And he was like, I don't understand why you're just not, don't just want to go. You like boats. Like, what's the problem? And it took me a minute to realize that, like, I wasn't sharing with him what was happening inside me. And I was like, I just want to see what it looks like so I know whether I'm comfortable. And he was like, oh, okay. But it took me a while to be able to recognize, one, what my reservations were, and two, to be able to say it in a way where I felt empowered, not to feel like, oh, well, I feel like I have to, I don't know, make myself smaller. I had to be like, I just need to know whether this is going to be okay for me.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a very healthy thing to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
I need to feel okay. I need to know how, my needs are going to be taken care of here. And if I,
exactly, exactly.
yeah, but see, it's okay to ask. And I want to say that to everyone, that was a good example.
Yeah.
You have to be okay to ask for your needs. And, people might say, oh, you're overly sensitive. Why can't you just get on the boat? It's a boat. You're going on the ocean. No,
Right. You're going to love it. Right.
to get a hold of yourself,
Okay.
no, that's not how you talk to a highly sensitive person or a child, even worse. The
Yeah.
child is feeling this a millionfold and nobody's listening to the child. And so you're dragging the poor
Mm,
child out on the boat and they
yeah.
might throw up or they might have seasickness, who knows what their reason was,
Yeah.
but the point is you need to ask them. You need to find out where they're coming from. And as adults, we need to speak up because unfortunately, not everyone's going to ask us.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, we have to be comfortable enough to share what it is yeah, what we're feeling also, but what we're concerned about and how, yeah, that really we're looking to make sure our needs are going to be met in a way that feels okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so what inspired you? You said the highly sensitive rabbit is, your story. And you've written a lot of books geared towards adults who are empathic and sensitive. What prompted you to write the children's book this time?
Well, what prompted me was that the world is in a terrible place, and there's turmoil and stress, and empaths are getting overwhelmed, and children are
Yep.
not knowing how to deal with it. And these children, they know, these highly sensitive children know that their job is to protect the earth, and their job
Mm,
is to listen to their bodies, and their job is to, you know, bring people together because that's their nature. And so I want to give them some beginning tidbits to deal with themselves so that when they do take over the world, which won't be that much longer,
right, right.
these children are going to inherit the earth. And so
Yes.
they need to be in good shape. They can't
Yeah.
go, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. They have to learn how to deal with, I'm so overwhelmed, and this is what I can do about it. And then I go back on my path.
Yep. Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, I
Oh,
mean,
that's
I
such,
don't mean to put down, I'm so overwhelmed. That's a terrible feeling. But with these children, if you start early, it often makes them, it's a lot easier for them later on. And they're the
mm,
ones who are going to have the positions of responsibility. They're going to be the adults. I'm not
yep.
going to be here at a certain point, but while I'm here, I wanted to write a book
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
them. A simple
Yeah.
book, a very simple book. It's not an adult book, though it's the highly sensitive child, of course,
Totally.
inside all of us as we grow up and we
Yes.
bring her
Yes.
with us, all the time. And it's a good thing to have her around and
Hmm.
form of unity and coming together with the self to have her. And because she's often stranded as, as children, when we were children, we didn't know how to protect her. She got shamed or bullied or ignored or
Yeah.
traumatized, whatever she got. She's
Yeah.
in some house alone there. And part of an exercise I suggest in thriving as an empath is to visualize yourself. If you don't have your inner child, going back to that house where you think she's still at, where the trauma happened, and then
Yeah.
knocking on the door and finding that dear thing, dear one, and
Mm,
bringing her with you and saying, I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you back then, but I
yeah.
can. And
Yeah.
bringing her, taking her hand in your hand, feeling the tactile,
Mm.
connection and reuniting with her or
Oh,
him.
that's lovely. Yeah, that's lovely. That is lovely. Well, I also love what you shared about, these sensitive kids are the ones who feel so deeply about the planet and animals and the trees and nature and to be able to support them so that they can go on to nurture and, help our world. That's a lovely, lovely idea.
It is because you don't want to have adults debating whether or not we should take care of the earth. It's such a waste of time and ridiculous. Of course, we should take care of the earth, but isn't it interesting that the sensitive kids are the ones that really get that? And I don't mean you have to be a sensitive child or a
No.
sensitive. You can be a caring adult and get it, and you don't
Yeah.
have to be an empath or a highly sensitive to get it. But the ones that are highly sensitive, it's just natural that they do get it.
Yes. Yes. Just part of their,
It's
yeah,
a
their
debate.
nature. Yeah.
It's not a conflict. It's not a debate. It's not, you don't have to do any studies on it. It just is. It's our job is to take care of Mother Earth, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Why I don't understand why that isn't just a part of everybody's DNA, but whatever. Right?
It is because people value, other things other than taking
Yes.
care of the earth.
Resources and yes, yes, yes.
It's
Taking versus
beautiful.
giving back.
It's so beautiful to see these children. You go for a walk with them in the forest,
Mm,
look at this animal. Oh, look at that. Oh, the sky. Oh, let's lie down and feel the warm sun. It's so much fun. And
oh,
they just know what to do with nature, which is key.
yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of
So
these adults
important.
bumbling around, they don't have the faintest idea what to do.
Yeah. So, if you were to offer some words of advice for a parent or a grandparent who has a highly sensitive child in their life, what would you offer to them?
I would offer be their friend
Mm,
and come meet them where they're at and listen to them and be their
yeah.
friend, be there for them.
Mm,
Not smothering or overkill or anything like that, but just to be there to listen, to support, to share, to have good times with, to say, oh, that bird is so beautiful, isn't it? So you can have
mhm.
that connection early on as a child. It's good to have the grandmother and the grandfather and the aunts and the uncles, or if you have it, all of those. I have a Facebook group full of empaths, and I took a picture of myself when did you see this? Oh,
I
no.
didn't. I'm part of the group, but I didn't see the what you're sharing right now. But yeah.
But I put a 6-year-old picture of myself up and
Oh,
put, I had no teeth and, the big eyes and so cute, and so I invited everyone to put their own pictures there. And
oh,
yeah, I don't know, maybe 100 pictures of, and some people couldn't remember their childhood. And so they did
wow.
that too. They got so traumatized. I don't have a picture and I can't remember anything, but I'm here with you all. But there are so
Mm,
many, the way people talked about this child, the picture, you could see the child, that
oh,
precious child. And so that's the essence of this highly sensitive rabbit, this book, to see all these children inside the adults that, the children are alive and well.
yeah. Oh, that's very sweet. I love that. I love that. Well, if people want to find you, your books, your Facebook group, how would they go about doing that?
You could go to my website, which is Dr. Judith Orloff, ORLOFF.com. And there's a free newsletter list for highly sensitive people. If you want to get tips and tricks and, how to live your life in the best possible life as a highly sensitive person, sign up for that free e-newsletter. And
Nice.
I give workshops, and I'm on, book tour now for the highly sensitive rabbit, and it's just been a joy. So you could reach me mainly through my website and find everything there. And I also give private sessions, and so the information is there too about that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I will include the link in your the show notes for the episode once it's up and running. And I just so much appreciate your time. I really enjoyed our conversation today. It was lovely.
Yes, I did too.
Thank you. What were your takeaways from that conversation with Judith Orloff? I had a couple, like one when we were talking about the importance of community, of finding other highly sensitive women who get you. Like that really struck me because um, I know that was missing from my life for a long time. And just intentionally working toward building those relationships has been really soul filling for me. And the Circle of Sacred Sensitivity is another place to find other highly sensitive women, and you can join us there. You can find out more on my website, elizabethcush.com, if you want to know more about that membership. But another thing that struck me was in Judith sharing about how this book really is about, for adults, it can be about finding that inner child, working with that inner child, bringing that sensitive little girl here with us in the present and taking care of her and our needs, her needs, our needs, and how important that is. And lastly, uh, just the piece about uh, really nurturing these kids that are growing up today who will be the caretakers of the planet in the future and giving them the resources to take care of themselves in this overstimulating and hopefully not continuing to be divisive and conflictual forever. Hopefully, supporting those kids to really honor and nurture and steward our world. And that was just such a lovely perspective on what inspired her to write the book. I hope you'll check it out. I know it's a kid's book, but it's really, really awesome. So do it for your inner child. Well, I look forward to connecting with you here on the podcast, maybe in the Sacred Circle or in one of our monthly circle meetings. I hope to see you at one of those, in one of those, or connect with you in one of those places. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And I will see you, be with you right here on the podcast next time.